Hello, hello, hello. How are we doing today? How are you doing today? Welcome to episode, I think, 4 or so of Influence Over Coffee. I hope you've had your Have a Fresco coffee today. Yeah, so I'm here to talk about founders-led content, founders-led personal branding, yada yada yada. I think I heard this from a different, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, so let's break it down. When we're talking about founders-led content, I'm going to use two people as an example for this, right? I will talk about like my examples and also give them in context of in Nigeria, okay, and Africa and the global at large. So I'm going to use two people as an example, which is Aimee Smalls, yeah, of Oddmusee, and I need to start writing these things down just because I've forgotten her name. Aimee Smalls and the gym lady, right? The all women gyms lady. Founders led content to build personal brand. Doesn't mean you have to talk too much. Doesn't mean you're not going to curate the things you say. Doesn't mean you are not going to curate how you appear. Doesn't mean you are not going to take feedback. So let me explain, right? I'm using Aimee Smalls because this is like 5 years down the game of like Oddmusee, and she's always at the backlash of one controversy or the other, one way or the other. Because again, if you're attacking Oddmusee, she is the face of the brand technically, so you're also coming for her, right? And there was a situation that happened recently just based off of slow fashion using polyester and the rest of them all, and she was called out for her brand that she's sort of labeled as slow fashion, and it's not technically slow fashion. Again, in context of slow fashion and this case, it's based off of relevance and it's based off of nuances again, right? Because what is slow fashion for me might not necessarily be what is slow fashion for you. And to be honest, the third person might not necessarily care. They just want to look nice. Like, however that looks like, that's fine. Is that the best attitude to have? I'll probably say no, but at the end of the day, we get it, right? And what Oddmusee is saying is, she didn't say, oh, she was saving the world. She's just saying, I am contributing to being better than fast fashion. We talk about how like all of these fabrics, rubber, polyester, like contribute to waste, climate change, and the rest of them all. Maybe I'll do another video of like breaking these things down, because I'm actually like well versed in a lot of things. If I do say so myself, but let me get back to the topic, please. Not being cocky. So, where did I stop? That's why I said I need to write these things down. So, and the second example is I keep forgetting her name, right? But I'll sort of insert it in the video. Wanting to open an all-female gym, right? When she started this series and content, oh my god, everybody was so happy. They're like, yeah, finally, because trust me, as plus size, I stopped going to the gym, I stopped going to tennis because of just the male gaze, just unnecessary conversations, unnecessary staring, and all of those things. So I understood the importance of having an all-female gym, right, without men. Again, the moment you talk too much, there is a problem, because now you start to have loopholes. The moment you get all of those praises to become your driving force, and then you've forgotten the reason why you started this thing in the first place, then there is a problem. So she had a conversation, and then the next thing she spoke about, oh, trans women not being like allowed in the gym. To be honest, that conversation, to each his own, but you understand where you're at, right? If you're in Nigeria and that conversation about trans women being in the gym and all of those things, that is not even going to be a conversation in the first place. But the fact that you're in the UK, right, you understand like your climate, and then you say trans women are not allowed in the gym. Like, there is a whole like debate around for and against and all of those things. But the important thing here is, this is where people forget PR. PR is reputation and perception, right? The moment you start talking too much, there is a problem. Because that was the first problem, and that was the first ick that people got. The moment you put too much of what you're building out, there is a problem also. Because now you ask for people's money and they did a crowdfunding for you. right? And you say those same people don't have opinions about the business that they helped you create, you see where there's a problem, because now you are giving too much into the hands of people. There's a difference where we say customers rule the brand and the business, but there's a difference when you take the entirety of your brand to a whole bunch of people with multiple perception. You are not going to win, and your brand will not get the test of time. You get what I'm saying? Back to the recent one, as I think a gym, she's charging about £120 for that, and people are just like, oh my god, that's so ridiculous. You only have like 2 treadmills in the gym. It's so pink, it's so feminine. Like you open it up for conversation. You opened it up for people to have opinions. You cannot be angry at the opinions of people, because at that time you now have to tread carefully, which is why I am for founders-led brand, founders-led personal branding. But if you can get some strategy and training behind it, it's not even if you can, you should, because you should know when to stop, and you should curate exactly what you're putting out. When some brand founders say do like a story time, I'm building something, I don't know what I'm doing, blah 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 blah. Who are you telling I don't know what I'm doing? Are you telling the customer, people who want to buy something, and then something happens in future, and they'll remind you that you said you didn't know what you were doing? Do you understand what I'm saying? So we're all in the era of personal branding, we're all in the era of transparency, but please and please, you are different from your brand. This brings me back to Oddmusee and Aimee Smalls, right? One content creator called her out, and she was like, oh, the brand is not fast fashion, the brand is not slow fashion, yada yada yada, and things like that. A whole lot of things. Like, again, you have put your brand. When did I start saying yada? I think this is, I think I probably heard it from her. You have put your brand in the hands of people, and you can't win. There is a difference between customer is always right, and then you have built something, which is where I also have a problem. I have a slight problem with BTS. I have a slight problem with BTS with how it is used. Behind the scenes should come after we have seen the magic, we have seen the wow factor. It's like people doing photo shoots and they're already sharing the behind the scene of the photo shoot. Let us see the picture and appreciate it before we see how you looked when you were taking the picture. I don't know if I'm explaining this well, but maybe that might even be like a different topic. If you guys want to know more about that, or want to hear my point of view about that, please let me know below in the comment section, just so I know, and we can discuss about these things. Back to Aimee Smalls. So when the whole backlash came, there was the first thing I first noticed was based off of loungewear. Like, she came out with like joggers and stuff like that, and they were like, oh, it's too expensive for something that is not cotton. This whole situation came, another content creator dragged out for like her not being slow fashion and using polyester and charging like over £200 in her brand for her clothes that is still almost the same material that Fashion Nova and Shein use and things like that. And then she came online crying and crashing out. My dear, if you are a business owner in that context, you have no business crying on the internet. Trust me. I understand the context of transparency, and this whole scenario played out because, again, people are like, oh, you are the founder of a multi-billion naira business. Like, why are you crying online? You can't take a simple backlash. You can't take a simple blah, 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 this and that. And this is why I say, like, we forget that there are people behind the brands. And I think you should actually take the leverage that your brand will sort of protect you. I am not against founders-led content. It's mostly just how you use it and then what you put out. Because again, like, human is so fickle. Like, one thing they're praising you for something. Trust me, down the line, one person just needs to point something out. And the same thing you were getting cheers and applauses for is going to be the reason why you're crying and crashing out on the internet. Again, move with strategy, move with tact. I won't say people should stop doing this, because to be honest, it's the cheapest form at which you can grow and blow your brand in terms of marketing, especially in the terms of digital marketing, in terms of TikTok, in terms of social media, like it would go a long way. It would help a lot of businesses. A lot of businesses have grown just based off of social media. Indie makeup brands, Nigerian brands, a lot of things, like people start up businesses because there's social media at the end of the day, which I'm all for. But you see this general perception of, oh, build your personal brand, blah blah blah, and they're using like Beyonce and Rihanna as your timeline. You are not Beyonce or Rihanna. You are not Beyonce or Rihanna. Again, people who have built cult following are different from certain people. People who have spent years being known for something else and then transitioning into something else. It's a whole ball game entirely. Like, those are not your templates for the world. Like, they have this money, they have the resources, they have the people, they have everything at their disposal. So if you are just a small business owner who is trying to make something for themselves, who is trying to push their personal brand, I won't say don't do it. Just move with strategy and tact. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think down below. Please subscribe, share, and like, and see you in my next one. I hope you had your coffee today.